Today I decided that I'm going to go in the opposite direction to the places I've been so far. So normally I head towards the White House because I'm visiting all the monuments and stuff and testing the energy of those. Today I'm walking uphill, I'm panting, that's why, towards Georgetown, which I've heard a lot about but know nothing about. So I stopped off for a decent breakfast at Le Diplomate. Generally speaking, what I do in places like this, where I can't really eat the food, is I just order stuff that I'm allergic to and eat it and take the consequences. I'm so careful about what I eat the rest of the time that I feel I can splurge a little. I build myself a little wiggle room into my diet, but this is a fantastic place to have a bit of wiggle room, I have to say. So there you go, that is Le Diplomate, one of the best places I've been to in DC. Really love that, it's so authentically French. Whoever designed it really got it right. It has a French bistro feel and it's so incredibly popular. When I left, there was a line out the door, and it's not a small place, it's pretty big, but every seat was taken. And as I was packing up to leave, there was a woman standing right behind me wanting to sit on my seat. She just stood there holding her coffee and staring at me. But the waitress at the end leaned over and said, "I love your little drawings. They are so cute, they are adorable." I was doing drawings on my iPad. People are very, very curious. Everybody wants to know what I'm doing. The other night I was in a restaurant doing drawings, and I looked up and all the bar staff and the servers were just standing staring at me. It's like, either they thought, what is this weirdo doing? And why is he doing it here? Or they maybe possibly had seen my YouTube channel, that's of course possible. Or there's a third option. Or in such a smart area where people are so chic, they were thinking, who is this shambolic mess that's just walked in here and sat down with his bags and his camera equipment and his gloves and his iPad. I think it was basically barely disguised disgust. This is Georgetown in DC. I had to walk for about an hour to get here, but it's the cutest of the cute. Look at this. Actually, I think it was a port town originally on the Potomac River, maybe even before DC was DC, and has retained all of its charm. I assume a lot of money goes into making these houses as cute as they are and keeping them that way. And there is definitely a ton of money in DC. I've never been anywhere, other than maybe New York perhaps, but certain areas of New York, but I've never been anywhere where it seemed like everybody was rich. Now I know they're not, but it just seems that way. It just has that feeling of wealth about it. There's just a sense here of privilege, I think, of tremendous importance and self-importance and power and money. You're looking at the James G. Blaine mansion. I think he was a presidential hopeful back in the day. Just passing this house, it felt like it was crumbling. Not physically, materially crumbling, but just a crumbling facade. Like failure, maybe, or inauthenticity. It's a bit like a child hiding under a blanket, or a dog hiding under a duvet or something. It's like the center of it, the cozy part, is great, and maybe the outside didn't matter. It's what you stood for, or it's what you believed in, it's who you loved, or something like that. But the actual facade didn't matter, and that's not surprising given that it's extremely drab and dreary. Maybe it's age. But nowadays I am so restless. Wherever I go, I want to live there. I would like to spend a year here, just enjoying life. I would like to spend a year in Milan, enjoying life. It doesn't matter where I go, I want to live there. And of course, the people who live here don't have idyllic lives. I'm sure they have the same pressures as everybody else. These buildings are not cheap to keep up. They have to have high-pressure jobs, I'm sure, to get where they need to go, and it's a lot of worry. And they have kids, and those are a concern too. So none of it is easy. Nobody has greener grass, really. But I just feel like they do. I feel like my life could be so much better if I just lived here, or I lived in Milan, or Gstaad in Switzerland. It could. I'm convinced of it. And it's just frustrating that I tell myself, yeah, I could live here, and then I'll go somewhere else, and I'll be like, this is where I want to live. I think I'm trying to cram way too much into the final few years of my life. This is a bucket list thing, so it's very reminiscent of last minute, 11th hour desperation in life. But I am feeling that more and more and more. And now DC is on my list as well. Oh, I could so live here. It would be so amazing. I've been thinking about that Blaine mansion. It felt like a boast. The thing had been built as a boast because you had to have a mansion. Look at me, I've got a big house, aren't I important? And without a big house, you weren't important. I can understand that here. People dress alike. They look at what everybody else is wearing and they buy that so that they look the same. Their haircuts are the same. Even their facial expressions are the same. Like it matters. And everybody has to consider what matters here and what you've got to do to look right and look the part and so on. So maybe Blaine was the same. I gotta have a mansion, and now I have one, and look at my mansion, isn't it great? That kind of thing, which is why it was such a crumbly facade. It was so fake. And on the inside, he was a lot more sensitive and vulnerable. I don't know anything about this guy, by the way, at all. I'd only heard of him this morning for the first time. But, on the inside, he was a lot more sensitive and a lot more vulnerable and just desperate to be loved, maybe. Something as simple as that. That's why he ran for president. Having stood outside the White House now and wandered around DC a little bit, it takes a tremendous amount of gumption, of nerve, of stamina, determination, and a sense of your own self-worth to think that you can contribute to the future of the country in that way. When they criticize Trump for being a narcissist, which he undoubtedly is, you kind of gotta be. Some way you've got to be a narcissist, because otherwise how can you convince yourself that you are worthy of that particular role or to be in this particular town? It's quite hard. I mean, I don't have that. I could never go out there and say, hey, vote for me, I'm really important. And I think if you've got the nerve to put on that sort of fake external thing and present yourself to people in a certain way, then you've got to have a mansion to back it up, I assume. But it doesn't mean that underneath all of that you're anything other than a regular person. Yeah, I can just see that mansion crumbling around him and exposing his true self, his vulnerable self. This is billed as the oldest stone house in Washington, D.C. It dates back to 1766. It was used as a meeting house or something, and it's all the original stone. So since you can't get older than this, I thought I'd touch it and see what came. 1766. Wow. Already. 1766. I've just had a lot of trouble getting the energy from this house, and I couldn't figure out why. First, a couple went by, and I felt their energy, and so I let them go. Then I tried again and got nothing. And it turns out that round the corner there was a bench, and 2 women were sitting on here. That's what was getting in the way of my energy. So let's do it now for real. Now that they've gone and I'm alone. Okay, 1766. What happened here? To me, that has a very unfriendly energy. It's almost like somebody ran out from the inside, grabbed me by the shoulders and shook me so hard. There's a real assault on my system. So maybe it's defensive, maybe it was constantly under attack and people had to fight for possession of the house or fight to stay safe inside. As cute as it is, this place, and it is incredibly cute, there's a lot of antagonism here, a lot of violence, a lot of fear, perhaps, and defensiveness. Somebody in here was very, very worried about what would happen from the outside. That something would happen from the outside and they'd have to defend themselves, and so they did it preemptively. They ran out and attacked somebody. It's absolutely tiny. It's run by the National Park Service, I think, and it's free admission. You can come in and you can feel it for yourself if ever you're in Georgetown. The strange thing is that when I touch this wall, I feel completely different to how I did on the outside. I feel like somebody's dragging me inside for my safety or because I've been wounded. It feels like somebody's pulling my body physically into the house through this door and laying me on the floor. So somehow I was attacked on the outside and then dragged inside by whoever was in here. I'm being laid down on my stomach and somebody sits on me to hold me down. So I'm not wounded, I was just in a fight outside this door. Somebody drags me inside, lies me on the floor here and sits on me to stop me escaping or to calm me down. So I was the assailant, sort of like attacking the house in some way, and they came out and defended themselves. Wow. Wow, yes, I'm just lying on the floor now with somebody sitting on top of me, face down. Wow. I can honestly say I am never happier in life than when I'm sitting in a place like this, which is fantastic. It's a place called Clyde's in Georgetown. It's laid back, but really, really stylish, old world kind of place. Great food, a great cappuccino I've just had actually. And I'm never happier than when I'm sitting in a place like this, undisturbed, on my own, doing pictures and drawing. It's absolute bliss, it really is. So for that gift, I am very, very grateful to DC over the past few days. I've had a great time just doing my drawings. And again, the benefit of nobody knowing you because you're in a different town. I love that.